Hey, single-player gamers, are you looking for a game that's gonna take you a long time? Like, we're talking maybe about 100 hours at least? We got 10 games today in no particular order that'll definitely take you quite some time. This was kind of an excuse to just talk about some cool games we haven't talked about in a while, but if you're a completionist or you like to just see everything a game has to offer, these single-player games will give you some bang for your buck.
Starting off with number 10, we have Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. If you know anybody who's jumped into this game, this is definitely your dad's war game. It is a lot. This is a game where, depending on how you play, you can complete the main story in like 40 to 60 hours, but it's all the other stuff you do in this game that'll really keep you busy. I mean, you're going to spend a ton of time strategizing, planning out your battles, and then executing and winning these long, drawn-out battles, but then it's all the other stuff. You're living in this world. Sure, you're going out there and you're trying to conquer and expand and all that, but when you come home, you still gotta do a bunch of other stuff. You gotta actually be in charge of raising those armies. You're going to actually be taking advantage of politics. You're gonna be making your weapons, managing your commerce and your economy, getting people to fight for you, and just generally controlling your fiefdom. And there are a lot of decisions to be made in this moment-to-moment stuff when you're not killing dudes with swords. You're going to be kind of engaging in some RPG-type stuff. You can keep yourself busy for tons and tons of hours before even jumping into the multiplayer or the mods or whatever else the developers continue to add to the game. No, just the actual base main story, or just a completionist run, really is going to take you quite a long time. These games are incredibly thought-provoking, kind of overwhelming medieval sandbox style games, but they can be so addictive once you really get into it.
Next, over at number 9, we have Bloodborne. Now, this one kind of depends on how good you are at Souls-like games. Like, if you're a master at them and you're a speedster, you can cruise through this more quickly, but if you count Bloodborne, the difficulty, and all the other DLC and stuff, like the old hunters, you're gonna spend a lot of time in this game. Because the main game is incredibly lengthy and challenging. A completionist run of that is gonna be at least 70, 75 hours, depending on who you are. Then you have the old hunters DLC, which gives you a good chunk of time, and a lot of people really enjoyed that. And then you have a bunch of time you can spend in the chalice dungeons. There are players still to this day spending a bunch of time there, and if that gets you hooked, you will spend a lot of hours with this game. Also, not to mention the fact that, like, it's still one of the best. There's a reason why people still want this game to be patched, look a little better, run a little faster in 2023, because goddamn, there is no other game like this. Obviously, it's a From Software game and it's a Souls-like game, so there's that whole gameplay thing that only they can perfect, but the rest of it, the art style, the boss design, the mood, the atmosphere, nothing quite nails it like Bloodborne did, and that's part of the reason why you're gonna wanna spend like 100 hours in this game, because you're gonna wanna live in this spooky, gross, creepy world. Maybe that's just me as a horror enthusiast, but yeah. Next, over at number 8, we have Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. Now, if you've ever talked to a Dragon's Dogma fan, you probably know the deal by now. Every single Dragon's Dogma person is about this game, and that's for a reason. This is an awesome world that you can get lost in for a really long time. If you love fantasy RPGs, or hell, I'd even say if you're not really into fantasy RPGs, specifically because this is Capcom's spin on a fantasy RPG, so it's a bit different. Like, yeah, you have your knights, your wizards, your dragons, but it's got a little Capcom flair to it, it's got a little Monster Hunter, it's got a little bit more Japanese influence, and that amounts to just a really incredible game experience.
What else would you expect with life? Never forget, constant vigilance.
You got cool companions, a pretty big open world to adventure through, and you can easily spend a ton of hours in this game by yourself. Next, over at number 7, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance. This game found an audience for a reason. It's a really kind of more realistic take on a medieval adventure with more accurate portrayal of towns, villages, cultures, and even fighting and the RPG elements. Things are slow, deliberate, you have to take care of your character, and that means you can really get immersed in this world of medieval Bohemia. You go from a low-life peasant to a badass knight, but it takes a while, and the main quest can take you a good amount of time for a typical open world kind of RPG survival thing, but if you're a completionist and you want to check out all the DLC and content added to the game, depending on how you play, there's a good chance you're going to spend over 100 hours. I mean, when you're getting distracted and you're wandering around and figuring out what to do, the main quest feels long enough, but when you add all that additional content, like From the Ashes, Band of Bastards, A Woman's Lot, like there's a lot of other stuff added, that can lead to a good amount of playtime. And this game has really received a lot of community feedback over the years, and there's a reason why PC players still absolutely love it to this day. Next over at number 6, oh boy, of course, we have The Witcher 3. Now, what more could we say about The Witcher 3 after all the ports, re-releases, stuff like that? The Witcher 3 is a fantastic RPG. It's a massive open world that you want to get lost in. You want to play as Geralt of Rivia, really embrace the world, the cultures, the fantasy elements of these games based off of the classic Polish fantasy novels. The Witcher 3's got grit, it's got heart, it's got adventure, it's got gore, it's got adult themes, it's got dashing men and women and spooky monsters and political intrigue. It's got everything. Not only does it have everything, but it also has a shit ton of DLC that'll make the game even longer. Specifically, Hearts of Stone, which will probably give you like 10, 15 hours or so, and then of course the massive Blood and Wine expansion, which gives you a whole new area, a whole new world of Toussaint, and that'll probably take you like 30 hours. And that's not to mention the main game, which is so massive. There's a lot of people out there that just never finished it, kind of like a Skyrim, where it's like you just play and wander around and side quest forever and forget about the main quest. The Witcher 3 is one of those. We've talked about this and other CD Projekt Red RPGs to death at this point. You know we like them. The Witcher 3 is absolutely incredible, and you could spend a ton of time in it. And frankly, you should. Next over at number 5, we have Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Because these games are absolutely great, incredible CRPGs that are worth experiencing. Larian Studios are now like legendary RPG builders at this point, specifically because of these games. These games have an incredible amount of depth, pretty massive and interesting worlds, tons of well-written, interesting quests, and the game just accounts for all these crazy things you do. Whatever type of player you are, whether you're a mage or an elf or a wizard or you're undead. The game, the NPCs, the quests and stuff will all respond to who you are and what you're doing in the world, and it's really cool to see unfold. There is so much depth in these games. You can play them with other people, but playing them alone means you will spend a massive amount of time in them. And we're going to be talking about the developer Larian a little bit more later in this video.
You are not enough. You are.
Next over at number 4, we have Dragon Age Inquisition. This is the one that really still to this day has a cult following. People fell in love with the world of Dragon Age since the original game, but for some people, Inquisition was the one that really locked them in. I don't know what it really was. Is it the more open exploration, the bigger worlds, the kind of building up your town, the learning to love these companions that you have, some of them incredibly memorable. I don't know exactly what it is. It's hard to put my finger on, other than the fact that it's one of the last great BioWare RPGs, which definitely helps, because with that comes a bunch of great, compelling questing, branching storylines and conversations, and just an experience that you can easily spend 100 hours in. Yes, the main quest can be mainlined, and that's only so much time, but it's really about getting lost, exploring, stumbling upon things, and engaging in all that extra content they added. There was the Trespasser DLC, the Descent, and Jaws of Hakken, which all add a handful of hours, meaning you can spend a lot of time in Thedas. And I mean, there's a reason why people are still dying for the next Dragon Age, because this one really had some people hook, line, and sinker. Just a compelling, open kind of world action RPG adventure that you don't really quite see from BioWare anymore. Thankfully, this one still exists and you should play it. Now, next down at number 3, of course, we have Baldur's Gate 3, this newly released RPG based in the world and rule sets of Dungeons and Dragons is absolutely incredible. You build your character or choose your character and set out in a world that is filled with decisions to make, experiments to try, and a game itself that is just always willing to spit something back out at you. The combat is incredibly challenging, but it can be really fun turn-based action, but it's really all the other stuff. It's the conversations, it's the branching storylines, narratives, it's getting to know the complex backstories behind all your party members that really makes this compelling, and it seems like you can dump a lot of time into this one. The game is still newly released, so we're still kind of scratching the surface on it, but it's a safe bet that you can spend a lot of time in this one because it's going to be so tempting to finish the game and go back and roll as a different character and get a completely different experience. Every decision you make and type of character that you are usually seems to lead to something kind of different in the game, and that's cool. And if anything, that definitely adds some replay value and length for sure. Next, over at number 2, we have Elden Ring. From Software's latest game went full open world, and it is massive and incredibly lengthy. Whether you're just trying to work through kind of like the main story or dabble a little bit here and there or be a completionist, you're going to spend a lot of time in this game because not only is it challenging, so you have the From Software thing of just trying to actually beat the game, spending hours and hours trying to master these bosses, but it's the open world they built that is just so huge and so filled with secrets that it feels like you can endlessly explore. And frankly, for like 100 hours, you can. Not everything is spelled out to you. There aren't big giant markers glowing saying, go here, there's a secret here. No, you just gotta like organically stumble upon this stuff and seek out adventure for yourself. And that's what makes it so cool. There's so much more. There's massive cities, wide open fields, complete underground areas that are almost as big as the regular map. It's staggering how big Elden Ring is and how fun and compelling it really is. There's a reason why people have been obsessed with this game. Unless you're living under a rock, you've definitely heard about it by now. And we're not even talking about the planned DLC expansion. We don't know when it's coming exactly, but chances are it's going to add even more hours of play and exploration and dying to this game. And we're excited to see that. Now, next down at number 1, we have The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This one is a recent one, and it's absolutely massive. It is essentially Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, but with a ton more to do. Sky islands, hidden underground areas, and way more puzzles and ways to experiment with physics that, if you're breezing through the main quest, it doesn't feel like you're spending like forever in this game, but you certainly can. This game has more than enough stuff to keep you satisfied for 100 hours. Whether it's optional bosses, hidden dungeons, just finding weird items, trying to complete every single weird little puzzle with that guy holding up the sign, or of course, Korok seeds. If you are a completionist, good luck. Breath of the Wild, but now more specifically Tears of the Kingdom, is just overflowing with gameplay hours and just opportunity, really. It's such a cool game, one that honestly kind of caught us off guard a little bit, and you should check it out. Those are some about 100-hour single-player games that'll keep you busy for a while. This isn't a definitive list. There are so many other games that we couldn't mention, so now we have some bonus games, like, say, Skyrim. Duh. Of course, you can spend a ton of hours in Skyrim, but we've talked about it so much. Also, don't write out Borderlands. Getting the Borderlands collection means you have a ton of gameplay time in front of you. If you saw one of these games and you're like, I beat it in 20 hours, good for you. That means you're a gamer god. But for the rest of us, these are some games to sink a lot of time into. If you got any more recommendations, because there are plenty more out there, be sure to let us know, because we could do a part 2, part 3, part 4 of this list forever. Let's talk anything about these games and others down in the comments. And if you like what we do here, we talk about games every single day, clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It helps us out. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.